continue to Ask the Experts on an Ask the Experts weekend right here on News 96.5. That's right, and this is Law 2020, a relatively new show on the air, but the guys on here have been serving Central Florida for a lot of years. They know the territory, so to speak, and they've been around here longer than many of the listeners of this radio station. BCN Law Firm, BCN Law Firm, offices in Central Florida. Wade Boyette is our anchor today from the BCN Law Firm, and the show name again is Law 2020. We're taking your calls at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696, or 21232 if you want to text us. Now, by way of explanation, the 21232, where does that go? How do you do it? If you just bring up the messaging function on your smartphone, and where you would put somebody's phone number or you'd put their contact name, whatever, all you do is put in the numbers 21232, and your message, miraculously, about 30 words, 35 words, shows up on our computers right here in the studio. All right, Laurel's taking your calls right now, so join the conversation. Any legal questions you've got, and our good friend and buddy, Wade Boyette, who truly is, he becomes a member of your family. He doesn't just become your attorney. He's there for you. He really, I mean, this guy will come and sit down with you at your kitchen table. You know, how good is that? All right? So you have a friend here and you have a business associate.
I do. I have someone that has been a very close friend and an advisor for years. His name is Hilgard Lamprick. He is a financial advisor in the Central Florida area, and I'll let Hilgard tell you a little bit about his practice before we start answering some questions.
Well, thank you, Wade, for having us. It's wonderful to be here. I would say amen to our friendship. It's been amazing to get to know you quite some time ago, traveling with you in Africa and just having a great time. Wade is my attorney, my advisor, my legal advisor, gives some tremendous legal and tax advice, and we obviously believe in the power of advice. I co-own a firm called the Life Wealth Group with my wonderful wife, Yanis, and great partners, Max and Mindy Hooper. And we have a great team of about 10 folks working with us, helping other folks see their dreams come true. We love what we do, and we love to understand what the dreams is of our clients and how we can help them through wise planning and good money management strategies and good tax minimization strategies, and working with Wade and his firm to help protect people's wealth so that they can fuel their dreams and can see some significant goals in their life come about. We believe that money has meaning, and we have to maximize the meaning so we can maximize the money.
All right, very good. There's a good service for you. 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. I think that begs the question, Hilgard, that a lot of people don't think they need a financial advisor or financial planning because they don't think they have enough money, when actually that's a good way to get there, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think most folks also are unsure about the cost of having a financial advisor, and often they feel that they don't have enough money, or maybe the cost is too much. The contrary is absolutely true. When you see what people are doing, and we do finally meet folks, we see that the true cost of not having planning is really paying unnecessary amounts of tax, as well as the fact that most folks utilize retail mutual funds that have a lot of internal expenses built into them. And so when you do a true cost analysis of what is going on at the moment, they actually are paying significantly higher cost of not working with an advisor. So an advisor is a coach. An advisor is a person that helps another person figure out the potholes in the journey of accumulating wealth and protecting wealth. And for our clients, so we just coach and work with them in that process to help maximize what they do have. What's interesting is when you look at the end of life or towards retirement phase of life, everybody wants to retire, and everybody wants to have a certain stream of income to sustain their lifestyle. And that income stream comes typically from pensions as well as from capital. And one of the greatest wonders of the world is compounding. And so to be able to maximize that compounding, you have to have very good planning. Otherwise, you're going to pay a lot of unnecessary expenses and do a lot of unnecessary transfers of your wealth.
All right, very good. We are taking your phone calls right now. If you have a question, any kind of question dealing with the law or any of your circumstances, if you don't want to use your real name, you don't have to. And if you have questions of a financial nature, we also welcome those. 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696, 21232 is the text line. Mary in Orlando. Mary, how can we help you?
Yes, hi. I'm considering a malpractice thing to go on, and I seem to be having difficulty in trying to find a particular lawyer that will handle it. Do you handle malpractice?
What type of malpractice are you referring
Medical
to?
malpractice.
We do not, in our firm, handle medical malpractice. We associate with firms that do. If you'll give me a call on Monday, we will work with you.
Okay, what is your number?
855-LAW-2020.
Law 2020?
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. And just ask for me Monday morning, and we'll talk about the facts and try to get you in the right direction.
All right, Mary, thank you so much for the call. And again, we are taking text at 21232 or 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Back to Wade Boyette.
Thanks, Rob. You know what? Hilgard and I were both at an event last night that was pretty amazing. We both support hospice. And when you're at an event like that, and it's such a good cause, you deal with a lot of people. I sit on the board for Cornerstone Hospice, and you go and you meet families that are going through rough times, and you're right in the face of dealing with estate issues and estate planning and financial planning issues, and you get to see what people have done and how it really plays out. Yeah. And a lot of times I can give you circumstances where, the families have called us in, and unfortunately it's too late to do the planning or it's too late to change things. And I see mistakes such as incorrect beneficiary designations or accounts that are titled jointly, which shouldn't be, because they lose certain tax advantages if they weren't titled a certain way. And that's where Hilgard, a guy like Hilgard Lamprick and myself, we could sit down and work with you. Everybody goes to the doctor and gets a medical checkup. Mm-hmm. I try to encourage my clients to also get a financial and legal checkup. Sit down with your attorney, your financial advisor, once every year, 30 minutes to an hour. Let's just review things and make sure things haven't changed in your life that would require us to make some changes in your planning.
Mm-hmm. All right, very good. And if you have questions along this line, we do have one call that's set up right now, 855-297-9696. Wade and Hilgard, how do you gently talk with your clients when especially in a hospice situation, that right now emotion is playing 80 to 90% of their life, but they need to really face the facts so they don't make mistakes. They need to make business decisions. And a lot of people are so caught up in the emotions that that's the last thing they want to think about, but it's your job to counsel them through this time. How do you handle that?
Well, Rob, probably from my side, the best answer to that is to help people be proactive and possibly even do the planning before we get to the situation of hospice. But as Wade says, it's pretty expensive when you see folks not doing planning or not thinking through what needs to happen. So what I normally do is I just tell folks stories that have listened to what I've advised and not followed it, and just the expense and the turmoil of transitioning an estate from a person to their heirs. It's typically a very expensive process. It takes a lot of time, and it is completely unnecessary. So with about 5 to 10% of the eventual cost and some small time commitment, you can avoid a lot of the pitfalls of a very expensive probate process by simply just doing proper planning. And Wade is very, very good at what he does. He does a great job for our clients, and we take care of the details together. So I see Wade's office do a phenomenal job with the documents, asking great questions. That's one of Wade's greatest gifts, in my opinion, is he asks phenomenal questions and brings great results. From our side, we just make sure, like Wade said, that the beneficiaries are coordinated with the plans that Wade and the documents he set up, the ownership titling is correct, and that a person's wealth is going to transfer just the way they really wanted to transfer.
Mm-hmm. All right, we go to the phones. We go to New Smyrna Beach. Beautiful day to be on the beach. And Rick, what is your question?
Well, actually, in the process of planning, I just had a simple question. Just a guesstimate on to when you think interest rates for CDs, for long-term CDs of 3 to 5 years, might jump up to around 5% again.
Well, let me see. That's a good question, a very good question, very actual question. I think I have to take my crystal ball out and polish it a little bit and see if I can stare long and hard into it. It is the $10,000 question, isn't it? It's very hard to answer that, but I will tell you, and this is just another opinion, that it might take quite some time before we get up to 5%. But interest rates have started creeping up. Obviously, last year in June, we started seeing the 10-year Treasury creep up quite substantially. That affected the bond markets. So we are definitely have started the interest rate increasing environment, and it happened. The first announcement of that was May, June of last year. So things have stabilized now as far as interest rates are concerned, but I don't know the exact timing of that. Sometime in the future.
All right, very good. And, of course, it's a two-edged sword, is it not, Wade? You know, those of you that are out there enjoying the 4% and early 5% mortgage rates, you know, the flip side of that is when the bank's offering you that on a mortgage rate, they can't be paying you anywhere north of that for for interest on an account. It's just not going to happen. You know, that's simple economics. So we're gonna pay somewhere. It's going to come out of our pockets, right, guys?
That is correct.
The best philosophy is to have good financial planning so that you're making the most of every dollar that does come across your doorstep. All right, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to come back with more. It's a beautiful day outside. Text us and just listen in if you're running around Central Florida, but don't text us if you're driving. Have somebody else do the texting in the car. Or you can simply put us on the Bluetooth and talk to us at 855-297-9696. We will be back with more on News 96.5. 6 minutes before the latest in news from our 24-hour newsroom. You're going to get caught up with Severe Weather Center 9, and there is some dicey weather coming into Central Florida on Monday and Tuesday, so we'll keep you on top of that. What's happening in Russia with the vote, and what is happening with that plane? Where is it? What's going on? What's the latest out of Malaysia? All those stories and local coming up in just a few moments. And, of course, we'll get our triple team traffic. It's always crazy out there, and it is Bike Week wrapping up today. So let's go ahead and get back to the text and the phone calls. The texting is 21232. The phone calls are 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. We have a text here that says, when a conversion from Chapter 13 goes to 7, what is allowed to be kept? Wade Boyette.
The exact assets, if you were to file 7 directly without converting to a 13, you have certain things that are exempt assets, such as your homestead, and I'm saying that loosely because there are certain rules in Florida, even with regards to your homestead, and annuities and retirement accounts. A lot of those assets are exempt. So really, converting from a 13 to a 7 doesn't give you any more or less assets that you can exempt.
All right, very good. And, folks, if you have a follow-up to that, why not give us a call at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. Wade, are we seeing an uptick, a leveling out, or a decline when it comes to bankruptcies and foreclosures right now?
Well, this time of year is when bankruptcies generally increase, and the reason is, a lot of people who are on the sideline, it does cost money to file bankruptcy. It's not terribly expensive, but usually when you're having financial troubles, every dollar counts. And so most people wait until they get their tax refund and then file because, they can pay to get the bankruptcy filed. And if they don't take their tax refund to pay for an attorney to file bankruptcy, the bankruptcy trustee would take it anyway. So it's a great time of year to file.
Now, Hilgard, let me ask you a question. Now that people are in the midst of getting their 1099s, getting all of their tax stuff in order, wouldn't this be the perfect time to call you and say, hey, let's sit down for a few minutes, give me a free consultation or whatever, so we can sit down and talk about the services you can provide me?
Absolutely, Rob. I think every time a person looks at their 1099 income or a tax form from their investments, they should know that that is an unnecessary tax that they're paying there. And, you can essentially grow money taxable, you can grow tax deferred, or you can grow tax free. If you know the English language, free is good. So
it is good.
Why you are paying a tax on an investment account is not a good thing for your wealth accumulation process. What's sad is that you lose that dollar that you're paying that unnecessary tax on, and you lose all the compounding on that dollar for the rest of your life and your family's life. $1 paid in unnecessary tax equates to typically $7 in lost opportunity cost. Like trying to avoid paying any interest on a credit card by being financially astute, the same thing is true for not paying a tax on an investment account.
Well, and a lot of things, I know of an awful lot of people that will get a 1099 simply because they converted a Roth or did something like that, and it's actually exempt, but they didn't know that because they didn't look at the right box, and they end up paying the tax. And if they do it with the wrong timing, there's no retroactive there if they bypass 60 days or whatever it is. So that financial advisor could certainly take the shock out of all that and people leaving too much money on the table. We're down to a couple of minutes. Can you give us your contact information, Hilgard? How do people get a hold of you, and is there a website as well?
Absolutely, Rob. Our phone number is 407-299-4129. Again, that number is 407-299-4129. We have a lovely Andrew Wold who will be happy to take your call and schedule a time to visit with us. We also have a website. You can reach us at www.lifewealthgroup.com, and you can check us out there. And we visit with folks on a first-time basis without any cost or obligation.
Great. And your offices are where?
Our office at the moment is in the Metro West area. We're very close to Metro West Country Club of Hiawassee.
All right, very good. And if you want to get a hold of the BCN Law Firm, it is bcnlawfirm.com. That are the initials B, C, and N, lawfirm.com, or you could call Wade Boyette's offices at 352-394-2103, 352-394-2103. Or you could always dial up. You hear the commercial that sticks in your mind like that, like It's a Small World out of Disney, 855-LAW-2020. 855-LAW-2020. There you go. I'm no singer, but I play one on the radio. All right, we're going to take news, traffic, and weather coming up. We'll be back for the marathon time. Time for you to chime in with a question or two at 855-297-9696 or 21232 right here on News 96.5. 12:36, we are back. The name of the show is called Law 2020. Law 2020. And it's brought to you by the BCN Law Firm, BCN. Wade Boyette is our anchor. You hear that name wherever you go in Central Florida, you hear that name. I mean, it's everywhere. And usually in the circles of community leaders, people giving back, and people helping out Central Florida. His office is 855-LAW-2020, 855-LAW-2020, BCNLawFirm.com, BCNLawFirm.com. And with us today is a financial advisor, financial planner with Life Wealth Group right here in Central Florida, offices in the Metro West area, and that's Hilgard Lamprecht. And boy, a lot of great information sitting right here at your disposal today at 855-297-9696. 855-297-9696 or 21232. I think, Hilgard, I think the one thing that's on my mind most of all these days is we're all pretty much the same age. And, when we were coming up through life, there were 3 television networks and a couple of newspapers running around. Now, when you turn on the TV, You have probably at least 20 business channels. You've got all these special programs you can get. The internet is full of them. There's so many things for people to absorb financially that they often make the wrong move. Do you find that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. To try to get real facts on the television or newspaper articles, just give me the facts, is so difficult. You have to condense any article, any internet article down to probably 1 or 2 paragraphs, and 5% of the conversation is real facts. That's why for our clients, we send out the thought of the week. We connect our investment management team with our clients. Our investment management team gets together every Friday morning, creates a thought of the week, translates all the noise in the media and everything that's going on into a simple one-pager, and communicates what is the actual information that's going on today in our world, and what is the impact to the markets, and more importantly, what is the impact to our clients.
Mm-hmm.
I got to tell you, myself, just reading the thought of the week once a week and getting the real information without the noise is so refreshing. And in any case, our clients love it. It's a great way to be able to get down to what is the impact of the world circumstances on the markets and their monies.
Do you find, too, that a lot of the financial shows are hyping the news? They might hype, a 20 or 30 point change in the market and then spend hours analyzing that. And many times it's with a political agenda. Do you find that? Everybody has
an angle and agenda. Every writer has one. But I think, to the defense of folks who are trying to make an impact on radio, TV, the most difficult part of that is that we don't know or don't see the individual circumstance that we're talking to. So we can make general statements, we can give general advice, but one of the greatest things of sitting down with a financial advisor is to understand your particular situation and really understand what of all the information and noise is really applicable to you and what is your strategy. The power of personal economy is where it lies. It doesn't lie in knowing all the information or trying to read all the markets. That is impossible to do. It's really the power of the personal economy and figuring out how the information and knowledge fits with you and your family individually.
I can see that free consultation going a long way with you first, Wade, and with you, Hilgard, because I look at the number of families that move to Central Florida each week. People wouldn't believe this, but it's in the hundreds. It actually is. Not just where I live, but throughout all of Central Florida. There are hundreds of new families coming here. I think, one of the things they need is to find out a good law firm that they can establish a relationship here, that they have a new home, new state. And number 2, a good financial planning company, because it's a natural time. One, they're in a new area, but Hilgard, they've also just went through a major financial transaction in buying a home in Florida and probably selling one up north. So this is the time for them to rethink and recalculate where they are in life, right?
Absolutely. And most of the times, too, what happens when people make a move or transition, they change jobs. When they change jobs, they have old 401ks sitting at the previous employer. Rob, I call that the sleeping giant. If people were to pay attention to the investment strategy inside old 401ks, they will be so much more be able to maximize that. Again, compounding is everybody's friend, but you have to pay attention to these old accounts. So one of the big issues is people changing jobs, changing careers, maybe they're retiring. There's a transition event happening in their life as to why they're moving to a different place. And if we can maximize what they have, their ability to build this secure financial future for themselves and their family is so much higher than if they just let it be.
So if they take advantage of that free consultation, you're dealing with, okay, who's the best fit?
Absolutely. That is all we're trying to assess on our first meeting, is to see, can we help them? Frankly, do we like them? Do they like us? Do they think that we are a good fit? And we have several advisors on our team. I'm also trying to ascertain with who they would be the best fit. and how we can help them. Another thing, Rob, that I want to say on your earlier question about cost or reasons people do not or are maybe afraid of seeing a financial advisor. In my opinion, a financial advisor will pay for it themselves over and over and over again by the savings in an unnecessary tax or unnecessary cost somewhere else. And that's the invitation I want to give to the audience. Is it's kind of like Wade said, you're going to go to your doctor for a financial checkup. Go to your lawyer, go to your attorney for a legal and a planning checkup. His firm is a phenomenal place to go to. He's got very, very good information, very, very knowledgeable. Our firm can do the exact same and just see if there's areas where we can help, where we can maximize.
Yeah, I go back to Wade for a minute, and I think, okay, you're a new resident of Central Florida, or those of you that have lived here for a long time, but there's life changes. Maybe your son got a divorce. Maybe something in your family is happening that changes the dynamic of the will, of the estate planning. And how many times, Wade, does it raise its ugly head that somebody comes back to you after death and they go, well, my husband meant to change his will, but he didn't. Now what's the recourse?
Right. You know what I see a lot? The general public forgets a lot of times that lawyers handle real estate transactions. There's so much out there that people always talk about title companies doing real estate closings. Well, a lot of attorneys, our law firm, we handle a lot of real estate closings. And when families are moving in, there are a lot of legal issues at a real estate closing, such as how should my house be titled? And, title companies can't give legal advice, so they usually just put it in the person's name. Or if they're married, they'll put it in their name and the spouse. And if the client has a trust or if there's other issues, family dynamics involved, that would be where the family would be better off having it titled a different way. A title company can't give that advice. We're a law firm. The lawyers handling your closing can. So I tell clients, when you're moving into town, when you're part of a real estate transaction, sit down with the attorney to make sure that the legal title to your home is taken correctly.
All right, very good. It's 12:45. We have a few minutes before we're going to take a break. Now, if you'd like to text us, it's 21232. 21232 is the text line. And we are taking your calls at 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. And if you have a question about financial planning, you have any legal question of anywhere in the law, we're taking those calls or text as well. And again, on how you do the texting, it is very simple. You just go up to recipient or address, put in the digits 21232, 21232, and then in the body, just write 25 to 30 word question. And if you want to, then you can write another 25 or 30 words in another bubble, and that way we'll get the full explanation. How did the two companies come together? Very interesting association you have here.
Well, we've been friends for years now. I mean, quite a few years. And we started off as neighbors in the same subdivision and actually had no idea really what each other did. And, over time, our kids and families got to know each other. And then we started working together, and our friendship even, grew stronger out of that.
Very good. So two companies that are working together. And that way, you go and see Wade, and he might suggest that you go down the road and see Hilgard, because he may see things in your estate or in your planning that may have to bring in the financial realm and get that advice as well. But again, I come back to the way we started the program, and that is you probably have more wealth than you think you do, even if you're just a retiring teacher, right?
Absolutely. We've got a great question that we ask our clients. Wealthy is the person who, ... And Rob, many times the answer to that has nothing to do with finances. So we believe in life wealth, and we believe there's so much more than money, but money to be used to maximize your life. Most retired teachers, believe it or not, Rob, has quite substantial levels of assets inside their 403B plans and are retiring with very good pensions. And a lot of times when you calculate a pension, it equates to a pretty substantial amount of money if you didn't have the pension. So everybody has wealth. How to maximize, how to make sure it lasts for a lifetime, and how it's transitioned to make the greatest impact to the next generation. is a big question. Something that I immediately loved about Wade as we became friends is that he's a tax attorney, and tax attorneys typically are my best friends because in financial planning, if you know the tax strategies to maximize your wealth, it makes the biggest impact into wealth. It's more so than what stock or bond you need to pick.
All right, very good. It's 12:48. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Steve, and we're also going to get your calls as well at 855-297-9696, or you could text us at 21232. It is break time right now for 3 big things you need to know. We want to thank these guys for actually investing in this show, buying the airtime and lining it up and taking of their weekend time to offer you free advice each and every weekend. And, of course, we get the legal advice from Wade Boyette or Heath Nalos, who come in here from the BCN Law Firm. It's called Law 2020, BCN Law Firm, BCNLawFirm.com, or the number 855-LAW-2020. And we have Hilgard Lamprecht with us today from Life Wealth Group, and they both are here to give you free advice. Right now we go to Steve in Orlando. Steve, how can we help you?
Hey, I have a 10 by 20 storage unit, and I found out the other day that about a fourth of it was stolen. What happened was it was set for auction, and I talked to the manager about a week ago, and I said I'd be coming in, and I went in yesterday and paid it off. The auction was set for Tuesday, and he said I had plenty of time if I got there before Tuesday. And I did a little bit of investigating and found out that he had opened up units for people looking for auction units, and he let them pick through what they want. And a fourth of my stuff is gone. What recourse do I have?
Have you filed a police report, Steve?
Not yet. This happened just last night was when I found out about it.
That's the first thing I would do is I would call and file a police report, because I mean that the stuff that's in that storage unit is your stuff, and if someone takes it out there without your permission, then that's theft. So I'd definitely file a police report.
Okay, but I think when you get a unit, it's at your own risk that they don't have any.
Well, they can't just go and take your stuff out of your unit.
Okay. Well, then that's what I shall do Monday morning.
Okay, sounds good. And if you need anything from us, where was the unit located?
In Orlando,
Orange County.
Yo.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, if after you file the report, if you need anything, give us a call.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, because even if he later, and I'm just the narrator of the show, I'm not an attorney, sir, but if he later wants recourse against the company that owns the storage units or whoever was responsible for allowing people in there, he's got to have a police report to establish it even happened, right?
That is correct.
Okay, very good. We had another question up there, and I don't know where they went. Laurel, can you chime in and tell us what the person called about, and maybe our authorities here can cast a light on it?
Let me remember, and then I'll get right back to you.
I read the question.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, then we don't call her as a surprise witness ever again.
No problem. The gentleman said that he had filed bankruptcy, and what was the impact on discharge of indebtedness?
And let me just jump in there now that I remember that. He filed bankruptcy last year. He got the forgiveness this year. So will he have to pay taxes on that forgiveness with taxes coming up?
Yeah, well, if it was discharged last year, he got the 1099 this year, but the debt was probably discharged for the previous year. And if that's the case, he's not going to have to pay tax on it. Also, if he just filed for bankruptcy, more than likely he's still insolvent unless he accumulated assets fairly quickly. And one of the exceptions to discharge of indebtedness or having to pay tax on debt that's been discharged is the insolvency rule. So if you can establish that you're insolvent, you would not have to pay income tax.
Let me ask you both a question. What are you telling your clients that maybe went through a short sale or a foreclosure last year about the non-renewal of the Debt Relief Act? Are you telling them to just wait a little while to file, or even file extended into October so that they might still take advantage if Congress gets off its back end and does something about this retroactively? What are you advising?
The first thing I do is advise the client to sit down with someone who has knowledge of the tax law, because what happens and I see this on a daily basis, a lot of realtors are knowledgeable, but they're not knowledgeable in tax law. And they're either encouraging or discouraging families to do short sales. And there are situations where when we sit down with a client, we will discourage them for doing a short sale because the tax implications are so great that they're putting themselves at risk. And I tell a client, owing the bank's one thing, owing the IRS is another.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because they come after you. They're not letting up. All right, Hilgard, can you do us the kindness and bring us your contact information one more time?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rob. You can reach us at 407-299-4129. Again, 407-299-4129. Or you can check us out on the web if you want at www.lifewealthgroup.com.
All right, and you do offer some free consultation at your office down in the Metro West region, right?
Absolutely. Just give us a call, schedule a time to visit with us, and we are just trying to ascertain to see how we can help you.
And are you open to clubs, groups, or organizations that might want you to come and speak?
Absolutely. We are very, very open. Something that Wade and I do often is help those clubs, groups, organizations with charitable planning to help them raise funds for what they are trying to do and help those folks who want to give to them.
All right, very good. And thank you both for your involvement in Cornerstone Hospice. That is such a great cause. And folks, if you ever need their services, you'll find out how caring and how much compassion there is at Cornerstone Hospice. Hey, we continue to ask the experts all weekend long right here on News 96.5.